Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex and today I want to talk to you guys about the truth about hormone balancing. This has become quite a buzzy phrase on social media and it can mean many different things for many different people. And today I want to talk about just some of the common reasons and where I think we fall short in addressing this for women. Where do I get off talking about this? I was diagnosed with something very rare called premature ovarian insufficiency about 3 years ago now, and I was dealing with hormone imbalance for a long time before I was ever diagnosed, and I tried to figure out what was going on, went to all different kinds of doctors. Everyone always said I was fine, always my labs came back normal, and I was always just frustrated. I had premenstrual spotting, I had really bad acne, I had just very strong hormonal symptoms for a really long time. And when everybody kept telling me that I was fine, I tried to go and take those generic hormone balancing supplements that you see everywhere, which by the way are a pet peeve for me now because everybody's hormone balance can be different. Not every single body is the same, and there's no one supplement that is going to work for everyone. And so I personally feel it is completely negligent for companies to put out these hormone balancing supplements and marketing it to everybody. With my acne, I tried for years. I tried making my own skincare. I tried different diets. I tried so many things and nothing seemed to ever work. And so I finally broke down and went to a dermatologist, and they put me on something called spironolactone, which basically blocks the effects of testosterone on your sebaceous glands in your face. And that actually did work for me, and I was also put on tretinoin for a while. Thing is, with that kind of treatment, it's only dealing with the symptoms of what's actually going on inside your body. It's not healing the root cause of it. So throughout this, I'm going to be talking a lot from the perspective of root cause medicine, and that includes functional medicine and naturopathic medicine, as well as integrative medicine. Now, functional medicine looks for the root cause of your issues. Usually it's something like gut health, metabolic health, environmental toxins, diet, etc. Usually those are the main culprits when it comes to hormonal balance. Since I was diagnosed, I have been doing a lot of my own research. I have tried so many different things and I have found a great amount of healing through root cause medicine, and that is why I am discussing this with you today. Please know that I am not a healthcare professional. These are my opinions based on my personal experience and all the research that I have personally done, but I cannot give you medical advice, and none of this is to be construed as medical or health advice. Please, if you are suffering from a medical or health condition, please consult with a qualified health professional. Without further ado, here are the real truths about hormone balancing that I wish I would have known about 10 years ago. There is no one size fits all. There is no generic thing that is going to work for every single body. So going back again to those generic supplements, if you see those, run the other way. Honestly, hormone balancing supplements are not going to work for everybody. Depending on the ingredients, they may work for a small subset of people. They're not going to work for every single problem that there is. Again, going back to the root causes of hormone imbalance, they can be caused by things like gut health, blood sugar imbalance, stress, environmental toxins, poor quality of sleep, underlying autoimmune conditions as well, or genetic disorders. It is really important that if you do not know what is going on with your body, that you find a doctor who is willing to do deeper testing. Now, when I first went to the doctor, I have a very serious chronic condition, but when I first went to the doctor, they did not want to test my hormones, and I had to really push. And don't be afraid to push. If a doctor says, no, I don't really like to test hormones, push for it. Say, I really want to, even if I have to pay out of pocket. I want to get to the root of this. I want to know what my hormones are doing. And if they still refuse to test your hormones, find another doctor. I had to push, and my doctor eventually did test my hormones, and when they came back, my hormones were out of range, and she still told me they were in range. This was my GP. This was the first time that I got my hormones tested ever. And so I went about life for another couple of months until my husband and I had been trying for a baby for over a year. And I went to my gynecologist, and he tested my hormones without any question, because this is what you do when a couple under 35 years old has been trying for a baby for a year and has not gotten pregnant. It is standard for them to test your hormones. So that is when I was diagnosed with primary ovarian insufficiency, or premature ovarian insufficiency. But a lot of doctors, unless you are trying for a baby and you're not getting pregnant, a lot of them won't want to test your hormones, but it is really important, especially if you're showing strong symptoms of hormone imbalance. It's really important that you do get them tested. So I'm going to give you some examples of hormone imbalance, and I am going to give you some of the symptoms of these different hormone imbalances. Number Number one is low progesterone. This includes spotting before your period, but it's usually connected to your period, and it's usually 3+ days of spotting before your period. Please know that if you're having premenstrual spotting, it is very important to get to the root of it because it can be caused by other things other than low progesterone. But low progesterone usually presents with premenstrual spotting if the progesterone level is low enough. Will also present with a short luteal phase, which means the 2 weeks after you ovulate. If it's shorter, like around 10 days or so or less, then that is an indication that you might have low progesterone. Trouble sleeping and anxiety, those are 2 more symptoms of low progesterone. And breast tenderness late in your luteal phase is also a symptom of low progesterone, as well as difficulty getting pregnant because progesterone helps to stabilize your uterine lining. If your progesterone is too low, then it may cause difficulty for you to maintain a pregnancy. So it can cause chemical pregnancies or early miscarriage. Another type of hormone imbalance is estrogen dominance. This one is a little more common. So it includes heavy or painful periods, mood swings, irritability, bloating, water retention, breast tenderness, and fibrocystic breasts. Estrogen dominance is really quite common because of all of the toxins that we have in our personal care products and in plastics and things in our environment. Their phthalates and plastics are all around us, and they are very estrogenic. So you will tend to see a lot more estrogen dominance in female populations. Another type of hormone imbalance is low estrogen. Symptoms of low estrogen include hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, pain with intercourse, brain fog, memory issues, low mood, or depression. The next kind of hormonal imbalance is high androgens. So that would be testosterone, DHEA, and that's common in PCOS. This would include acne, especially jawline and chin, excess hair growth on the face, chest, and back, scalp hair thinning, and irregular or absent periods. PCOS does fall under that category. It can also present with insulin resistance, and insulin resistance can cause high androgens. The next type of hormone imbalance is low thyroid or hypothyroidism. Symptoms include fatigue, sluggishness, weight gain or difficulty losing weight, hair thinning and loss, especially the outer edge of the eyebrows, constipation, and feeling cold often, especially cold hands and feet. The next type of hormone imbalance I'm going to talk about is high cortisol. So this is when your stress response is always stuck on. Symptoms include anxiety, panic attacks, wired but tired at night, midsection weight gain, so around the belly area, and sugar and salt cravings. The next type of hormone imbalance I'm going to talk about is low cortisol, which can be a sign of adrenal fatigue or burnout. Symptoms include exhaustion that does not improve with sleep, dizziness when standing up quickly, afternoon crashes, and low resilience to stress. So you can see these different hormone imbalances can be caused by different health conditions. They can be caused by different root causes, which is why it's really important to go to a health professional that knows how to check to see what is going on in your body. Comprehensive testing is absolutely necessary. This is why taking a generic hormone supplement is not going to work. Moving on to number 2, truth about hormone imbalance, and that is testing. Testing is non-negotiable. I've already hinted at this, I've already said it a bunch of times, but it really is non-negotiable. I'm going to go over some of the tests that are really important to try to figure out exactly what is going on in your body. You can write these down and ask your doctor about them. I'm going to start with tests that should be performed on a certain day of your cycle. So these tests are ones that should be done on cycle day 2 to 3. FSH, LH, estradiol, testosterone, DHEA, prolactin. So FSH is a follicle stimulating hormone. It is produced by your pituitary gland to communicate with your ovaries to start developing follicles. Follicles are what contain the eggs, and every month you ovulate an egg. FSH is part of that intricate hormone dance. So if you are producing a high amount of FSH, then that could be an indicator. You might have something like premature ovarian insufficiency. If you have a low amount of FSH, it could be that your pituitary is not producing enough. It might be an indication of an issue issue with pituitary or your hypothalamus. LH is also produced by your pituitary gland, your brain, talking to your ovaries. It is the hormone that triggers ovulation. So it is your pituitary telling your ovaries, okay, it's time to ovulate now. Estradiol is produced by the follicles in your ovaries as they grow and mature. The estrogen will peak, it will start to come down, then your LH will go up, that triggers ovulation, and then estradiol will kind of level off a little bit for the rest of your cycle, and then right before you start your period, it will drop. Testosterone is also produced in the ovaries. DHEAS is an androgen hormone that is really important, and it is also produced mostly in the ovaries. And then prolactin is, I believe, produced by the pituitary as well, and it is the lactating hormone. So onto the test that should be performed on cycle day 21 or 7 days past ovulation. It's only one hormone, and that's progesterone, and that is just to confirm ovulation and to see if your progesterone levels are high enough. Tests that you can do anytime include TSH, AMH, vitamin D, a full thyroid panel with thyroid antibodies, glucose and insulin, an iron panel, C-reactive protein, and cortisol. AMH is the hormone that is produced by the follicles that are currently developing in your ovaries. A lot of doctors like to say, tells us how many eggs you have left in your ovaries, which is not necessarily true because it is not a hormone that is produced by dormant follicles inside your ovaries. It is a hormone that is produced by the ones that are currently developing. Sometimes women can be on birth control and their AMH is really low and they come off of it and then it goes way up, or I've heard of so many women who have had really low AMH and then it jumps up. So it's not necessarily the be-all end-all number that doctors like to make it out to be. It is a useful predictor of how you will respond to assisted reproductive techniques, so like IVF and that sort of thing, ovarian stimulation. Vitamin D, a lot of people are low in this. In our modern lives, we spend a lot of time indoors in offices. We use a lot of SPF, which is very important and good, but we don't get enough exposure to sunlight because we do need some in order to synthesize vitamin D. So getting that checked is really important so you know if you need to supplement or not, because vitamin D can really affect fertility and ovarian reserve. A lot of time autoimmune thyroid issues can contribute to hormonal imbalance, so making sure you're getting a full thyroid panel is really important, because even if your TSH, your thyroid stimulating hormone, is in normal range, sometimes you can still have thyroid antibodies, so it's important to get the full thyroid panel. Then glucose and insulin, obviously it's good to know if you have any insulin sensitivity issues, because insulin sensitivity can really contribute to hormone imbalance. Iron panel is also super important in addressing hormone imbalance, and C-reactive protein tells you a little bit about the inflammation levels in your body, which is a good place to start. Cortisol as well can tell you if you need to address your stress levels. So make sure when you get these tests done that you're looking at functional ranges, because they're more optimal. The lab ranges usually are an average of the people that they see in the lab, and the majority of people that are getting labs done very commonly are sick, and so their lab ranges are not always optimal ranges. So I would just make sure that you look up what the optimal range is for each thing that you're getting tested, because even if they fall in the normal range by medical standards, it's not always optimal. Food matters so much. Making sure you're eating some kind of an anti-inflammatory diet, whatever diet that is best for you. When I was starting my healing journey, I did an elimination diet, which was loosely based on the AIP diet, which is the autoimmune protocol diet, but the one I did was called the Egg Quality Diet by Amy Rao, and it's basically just an anti-inflammatory diet that helps you find out what your food-based triggers are. I will link my video on the AIP diet up here, and then I will link the Egg Quality book in the description below for you guys to look into that a little more. I will just do a general rundown of this because this video is already getting pretty long. You basically want to focus on nutrient density, making sure you're getting good quality proteins, good quality veggies, good quality fruits, healthy fats, and just making sure you're getting the nutrients, the minerals from real nutrient dense food. A couple of practical tips with diet is to make sure you're balancing your blood sugar with protein and fat, as protein, fat, and fiber at every meal. When you're dealing with hormone imbalance, sometimes intermittent fasting can be good for certain people, but for others, especially if blood sugar imbalance is something that you're dealing with, intermittent fasting is really not the best thing, especially for women. We need regular meals, and especially when we're in our childbearing years and we want to have children, intermittent fasting is not a good idea for us. quality supplements. Now, taking your testing data and figuring out what your body needs is really important. If you are interested in finding a functional medicine doctor, I will link the Institute of Functional Medicine in the description below. You can go on their website and find a practitioner in your area, and they literally have practitioners all over the world. It's not just in the United States. They even have practitioners in Egypt. So wherever you are, you will be able to find one. And if you can't find a functional medicine practitioner, there are also naturopath doctors, which are much more common, and it's basically the same thing. So for me, targeted supplements actually made a difference. When I was taking generic supplements or experimenting, not knowing what was actually going on inside my body, I had some pretty bad experiences. I tried taking DIM when my estrogen was low, and it made my acne worse, and it made me crazy. And then I tried taking Shatavari, which is estrogenic, and my body was really sensitive to it. And it's one of the things that kind of made me start having irregular cycles right before I was diagnosed with premature ovarian insufficiency. So you really need to be careful with supplements. They are not to be messed around with. They're not toys, and you need to make sure that you're taking the right thing for your body. It's important to reiterate that hormone imbalance is a symptom of a deeper issue happening in the body and needs to be treated at the root, but here are some supplements commonly used for different types of imbalances. Please do not take anything without testing and consulting your doctor first. Number 5 is gut health and blood sugar. A lot of hormonal imbalance can be traced back to poor gut health, and it is very common in our society today, especially in the United States and the Western world, to have an unhealthy gut microbiome because our diets are a mess. And we use, especially in the United States, we use a lot of pesticides, we use a lot of glyphosate, and these chemicals affect the microbes in our gut. We have more microbes in our gut than we do our own cells in our body. So just to really drive that home, we are more a microbial community than we are human. So those microbes really, really matter. And from eating limited diets, limited vegetables, we are limiting the species in our guts, and we are affecting our health. Getting a comprehensive gut test is a really good idea. I got the GI map test done, and I will link that video up here for you guys to look at. It gives you so much information about your gut. It tells you about inflammation, if you have leaky gut, if you have SIBO, what kinds of overgrowth you have, if you have any parasites, if you have pathogenic bacteria, any viruses, inflammation, bleeding. It looks at, it's a very comprehensive test, and it is very, very helpful to have that data. And then once you have that data, you can go on a targeted gut protocol to help heal your gut, and then you can do, along with the gut protocol, your diet to start sorting that out. And a lot of times that will really, really help with hormone imbalance. After I did my gut protocol, I had my best progesterone that I have ever seen. I went from having low progesterone, like around 9, 10, 11, which was low for my body because I was having symptoms, to a 17 plus, which is like really, really good. Gut health is so important. Blood sugar is also very important to get under control because blood sugar imbalances can really cause a lot of hormone imbalance like PMS, cortisol spikes, and it also throws off sex hormones. Make sure you're eating balanced meals, limit processed foods, limit sugar, and make sure you're prioritizing gut-friendly foods. So number 6 is sleep and nervous system regulation. Sleep is when hormones are repaired and reset, so making sure you're getting really good quality sleep is so important. We really don't put enough importance in sleep, and women especially need more sleep than men do. All of those 8-hour studies that they've done have been done on men, unsurprisingly, and women actually need more sleep than that. We need more like 9 to 10 hours, I believe. And making sure that you are having a good sleep hygiene is super important. I'll link my video about sleep hygiene so that you guys can look into that if that's an issue for you. Number 7, environmental toxins are real. There are tons and tons and tons of studies on PubMed showing that environmental toxins are affecting our health. They're causing disease and they are causing infertility. It's a real thing. It's really happening. And there is not a single corner of the earth where we can currently escape environmental toxins and plastics and micro and nanoplastics, and they are deeply affecting our health and our quality of life. There are xenoestrogens in plastics, cleaning supplies, skincare, fragrance, personal care products. They're everywhere and they are causing hormone imbalance. Endocrine disrupting ingredients really mess with the estrogen and progesterone balance. I like to use EWG, the Environmental Working Group database, to make sure that the products that I'm using on my body and in my home are non-toxic and do not contain any of these endocrine disrupting ingredients. It's really important to do this and to also address all the things that you have in your home. I will try to link a video about all of the things that you can do to address toxins in your home, either up here or in the description. Number 8 8, healing isn't linear and it takes time. I know, like, our current culture, we just want to like go to the drugstore, get a supplement and pop it and have it work like medication, and that's not the case. Healing takes time. It takes time and you need to be patient with your body. So usually healing involves many small changes over time and being patient and consistently showing up for yourself. And I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but it's the truth, especially with hormone balance, because usually hormone balance is the last symptom of a lot of dysfunction that is happening in your body. And so you need to be patient while you make the changes to wait for that to take effect. Just remember, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. So it doesn't mean you have to do this stuff 100% of the time. As long as you're doing this stuff most of the time, that's what really counts. So in some guys, hormone imbalance isn't about one quick fix. It can be caused by so many different things that I hope I've covered here in this video, and it takes patience and it takes a many-pronged approach in order to address. So make sure you are building a good health professional team that is going to stand behind you and your desire to get to the root causes of your problems. If I can make progress after a very serious POI diagnosis, then you can too. Don't give up. I believe that our bodies want to heal and that we just need to provide the right environment for them to do so. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know which of these truths surprised you most, and let's talk about it in the comments. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I do lots of structured videos like these, and I share all about my healing and fertility journey in vlogs. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.